Hi, and welcome to episode 2 of our podcast. I am Sneha Thomas. I will be your host, and welcome to Midnight Conversations. As you saw the title, today we're going to be talking about to forgive or to not to forgive. So, in my honest opinion, I think forgiveness is great, but I also think it's very overrated. What do I mean by that? When I talk to my friends about shit that has gone down in their life, I give them the best advice that I can. And I give them the advice that I can based on my own personal experience, what I've read, what I've learned, what I know about healing and trauma and all of these different things, and what I know about how important forgiveness is. I guess the truth, though, podcast is about telling the truth. I guess the truth for me is that I don't have an answer about forgiveness besides that I think it's overrated. I think that we forgive people that don't deserve our forgiveness way too fast. Coming from me personally, I forgive people that I should have never forgiven way too quickly. There are so many people in my life that does not deserve to be forgiven, that have done so much crap, that have pulled so much, and they did not deserve to be forgiven. And I think it's time to tell the truth about how I really feel about that. I am such a forgiving person. I've spent so much of my life not being angry at people that deserved my anger, that deserved my hatred, that deserved my unforgiveness. I have spent so much of my life just saying that it was okay because I didn't want them to feel bad or them to think that they did something wrong to me. I didn't want them to think that they did something wrong with me. To me, I didn't want them to think that I was hurt by them in any way because I didn't want them to be hurt by that. When the truth of the matter is, a lot of these people, you'll forgive them and they'll move on and they'll go do this to somebody else and they won't even feel bad about it. A lot of these people that, you're telling you that they hurt, like you're telling them that they hurt you, a lot of these people won't even give a shit. A lot of these people will never change. A lot of these people will never care what they did to you. And that's just how life is. And that sucks. But it's the truth. There are so many people on this earth that just won't care. They will not care what they did to you. They will not even think twice about it after it happens because that's just what people are. That's just who people are. People are so caught up in their own world that they spend so much time thinking about themselves. They spend all their time worrying about how other people are affecting them that they don't even give a crap how they're affecting other people. And as a person who spends her entire being invested in what other people think of me and how I affect other people's lives, it's just not fun. It's not a fun way to live, and it sucks all the time. It sucks ass all the damn time because I spend so much of my time worrying about what other people would do to me and worrying about what I'm doing to other people. I'm spending all of my time worrying about how what I say or what I do affects other people when I know damn well that same person would not give a crap about what they did to me. They would not care what their words said to me, how they would affect me, because they're wrapped up in their own world and I'm not part of their world like that. I don't hold a value in their life enough for them to care. And I have recently realized this with so many people in my life. There are so many people in my world that do not put me at the same standard that I put them at. They don't put me at the same place in their life that I put them at. I would devote my life to certain people. I have devoted my life, my energy, my time, everything to so many people in my life. Do I feel that being reciprocated back to me? No. So most people that I know would move on. They'd find new friends, they'd find a new relationship, they would let go, they would just be like, it's fine, it's whatever. But I physically have not been able to do that. I can't be angry at people for more than 5 minutes. This is a toxic trait that my dad gave me through generation of how we grew up. My dad would not stay mad at me for more than 5 minutes. He would forgive me in 5 minutes and he'd never bring it up again. And I grew up like that, thinking that that was normal. So I have held on to so much baggage in my life. I've just held on to all this crap that people have done to me that I'm just like, it's okay. It's whatever. It's not my fault that they are the way that they are. It's not my problem that they are the way that they are. And I just have to be okay with that. I just have to be okay with how people see me, view me, treat me. And I have to forgive them because that's just how people are. This is how I have lived my whole life. But this does not make no sense. Nor is it real, nor is it right. This is not some like a way of life that we should be living. I mean, yes, the Bible teaches us to forgive and to move on, but god damn, fuck that, bro. Literally screw that shit, because if someone in my life does something to me that I would never do to anyone in my life, why the fuck should I ever forgive them? Why should I ever spend more than one more second in my life thinking about them? If someone does to me something that I would never do to somebody else, I mean, gosh, that is just a terrible character trait to have. My least favorite thing about people is that there are people in this world that are okay with pulling crap on other people that they would never accept in their own damn life. What do you mean that you have a problem with somebody doing this to you when you literally did the same crap not less than 2 days ago to somebody else? What? So what does that say about you as a person? What is it? Why are you okay with being an ass to people that you wouldn't be okay with if they did that to you? Why are you okay with controlling someone's life if you wouldn't be okay if they did that to you? Why are you okay with saying something or treating somebody a certain way, but you wouldn't be okay with that if somebody did that to you? What does that make you as a person? Who does that make you as a person? And who does that make the other person who accepts it, who goes with it, who is okay with someone doing something to them that they wouldn't do to somebody else? What does that make us as people in this world? And that's why I don't believe in forgiveness, because people won't learn if you forgive them. People will continue to do the same crap to the same people over and over again. If you forgive them over and over again, I don't think people understand the concept of learning from their mistakes if they're not actually given the consequences of their mistakes. You know what I mean? And I think that's valid. If you're not given the consequences of your mistakes, if you're not shown what you did was wrong and you face the consequences, you're never going to learn what you did was wrong. You're going to do the same thing to somebody else. And I am not the right person to be, talking about this forgiveness topic, because like I said before, I have forgiven way too many people in my time. And this goes with relationships, with my parents, with my friends. I have overlooked, forgiven, never even questioned things that people have done to me that I should have. That I should have sat down and questioned, that I should have yelled and screamed about, that I should have been upset about, that I should have mentioned. Because now when other people are mentioning it in their relationships with other people, and I'm thinking, why didn't I mention it? I'm thinking, why didn't I say anything when it happened to me? Why didn't I talk about it? Why didn't I yell at them and scream at them when they did that to me? Why did I forgive them? Why were they deserving of forgiveness when I wasn't deserving of forgiveness? Why did they deserve my kindness when I didn't deserve their kindness? You know? And I think that's just a quality of like a two-faced person, or somebody who's just accepting, or it could be considered that you can't expect everybody to think like you and you can't expect everybody to act like you. But I'm not asking for everybody to think and act like me. I'm asking for everybody to have some basic human decency. If you're going to treat someone a certain way and you would never expect or accept that treatment from somebody else in your life to do that to you, then you are pathetic and you have no reason to be acting the way that you act. You have no right to talk to somebody that way if you wouldn't accept it from somebody else. That's just basic human decency, you know? And I think that's a conversation that a lot of people aren't ready for. They're not ready to have that conversation. They're not ready to accept the fact that they do shit to people that they would never, ever, ever let anybody do to them. And this is what I have to leave for all of you today. If you're forgiving people for shit that they would have never forgiven you for, don't forgive them. Don't let them overlook their consequences. Because if you let them overlook their consequences, one day they're going to do it to somebody else and it's going to affect them way more than it affected you. And then you're going to wish that you said something when you did, when you had the chance. So, two things. One, if you're okay with being a certain way to somebody that you wouldn't be okay with that person being to you, take a look at yourself in the mirror and realize that you're not a good person in that aspect, not in like complete generality. But that's just a horrible character trait to have. Being okay with acting a certain way to people that you wouldn't be okay with if they acted that way to you. Does that make sense? And number two, if you're forgiving people for acting a certain way in your life where they don't deserve that forgiveness, and you're just doing it for the sake of not wanting them to overthink how they hurt you, stop doing that. And this is for me too. We all collectively, as a body of people, need to learn to stop forgiving people that don't deserve our forgiveness, to stop putting ourselves in positions to let people walk all over us, and to give those people who don't have the right to act like assholes in our life to act like assholes in our life. And I think it's important to remember that, because there are way too many people in our life that are just so okay with walking all over us, but would have never, ever, ever let you do that to them. And I don't know if I like people like that. I don't. I don't like people that are willing to act a certain way or treat a person a certain way, that they would never let anybody treat them that way, that they would never be okay with somebody treating them like that. You know? And I think that we have to learn from our mistakes and to grow up and to recognize that we are not above anyone, that we're not better than the next person. We all have our own flaws in all different types of ways. We're all, at the end of the day, going to be judged the same freaking way. So we're not better than the next person. We're not above the next person. So why do you or me deserve to treat somebody a certain way that you or me would never accept to be treated? I don't know if this makes sense or if this podcast made any sense, but I think that not everybody deserves to be forgiven, because some people need to learn from their consequences. Some people need to know when they're wrong and how they're supposed to change. People are supposed to do better. and to know better. And the only way that you can do that is if you're the person that tells them what they're doing is wrong and that they need to change. And it is okay to point out people's flaws. And if somebody has a problem with you pointing out something that they did wrong that affected you negatively, and they take that as like the biggest freaking offense in the world, that is another thing that they need to work on. Because if I'm telling you that something that you said or did to me hurt me and you're mad at me, I'm sorry, but everybody is justified for their feelings, and everybody's feelings are justifiable to an extent. If you're mad at me because I was hurt by something that you did in my life and something that you did to me, and you're mad at me, bro, please walk the fuck out of my life. I don't need you. I don't want you in my life. No, thank you. I don't need to have you in my life at that point because you don't respect my feelings. So why the fuck should I respect yours? You don't care about what you did to me, so why should I care about what I do to you? I don't. But that's the other thing. If you're at a point in your life where you're not forgiving people and you're just like, I don't want to give this person the reason of doubt or whatever, and I don't want to justify this person's actions, but you're still actively trying to hurt this person, no. Literally no. Get out. X marks the spot. Like, walk away. Because if someone's hurting you and you think to yourself, I'm gonna hurt this person exactly how they hurt me, and I'm gonna make them feel the way that I feel, no. why why would you want somebody to hurt the same way that you do? You already hurt. Every part of your body already hurts because of something that this person did to you. Why would you want them to feel the same way? The hate that you have for that person, you want that person to feel that way for you? No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't want that. You shouldn't wish that upon anyone because you already feel the pain. So you shouldn't want anybody else to feel that same amount of feelings either. I'm rambling. I'm like literally off topic, but to go back to the topic and to end the podcast before it's too long, to forgive or to not to forgive. Some people deserve your forgiveness. Not everybody deserves your forgiveness. And forgiveness does not just mean saying, I forgive you, and still accepting the same shit over and over again. Forgiveness means this is your second chance. Fuck up again, and I leave. That's what forgiveness is. At least that's what forgiveness should be, in my head. Biblically wise, teachings from Jesus wise, maybe it's not true. Maybe that's not what it is. Forgiveness probably means to forgive someone over and over and over again. But if you're forgiving someone over and over and over again for the same shit, for the same crap, and it's hurting you, and it's breaking you inside, it's no longer forgiveness. That's just you being desperate to keep them in your life, and you just let them do whatever they want to you. And one day, when they're tired of doing it to you, they're going to walk out of your life and go ahead and do it to somebody else. So forgiveness is a one-time deal. I'll forgive you one time. Fuck up? Okay, I forgive you. Fuck up with the same thing over again? I'm sorry. I already let you break my heart. I'm not going to let you do that again. Forgiveness comes with a cost. Forgiveness comes with a limit. Because if it doesn't, then you never learn. And you do it to somebody else instead. And that would suck even more. Knowing that somebody did it to you and you could have stopped them. You could have taught them how to be a better person. But you decided to accept it until they were done doing it to you. And they've decided now to do it to somebody else. Yeah. I leave you with all of these thoughts. So, see you next time. Thank you for tuning in. To forgive or to not to forgive was episode 2. Come again tomorrow for episode 3. Bye!